Hey everyone, and happy Friday. Welcome to this 24th episode of Clean My Space Live. I'm Melissa Maker, host of Clean My Space, and I've got a very special guest today. Someone who I have known in this crazy YouTube space for a very long time, like in YouTube years. YouTube years are sort of like dog years or cat years. Because it's so new. And I feel like I've known this person forever. She has been creating YouTube content for nearly as long as we have. And I'm so pleased to introduce her. She just has the most warm and friendly vibe. You're totally going to love her. And I'm sure you already know her. It's Nikki Boyd. Come on in, Nikki.
Hey, Melissa. I have to start by saying, wait a minute, I have to say you have the best backstage music. It was like I wanted to have a little party before we came in. I love it.
Chad is in charge of choosing the music. So for people who don't know Nikki, her YouTube channel is called At Home with Nikki, and you see her absolutely stunning aesthetic behind you. And like, you just go on her website, you see the same thing. You're on her YouTube channel, you see the same thing. Yeah. Oh, look at what Faith said. Exactly. Like, Nikki, you're just awesome. And like, what's so nice about Nikki is, first of all, she has great taste, like stunning taste. But also, Nikki, your energy, I love how you say, hi, friends, and you just welcome people into your channel and your space and your content in such a warm way. And I'm sure that's why so many people feel as though, even though they might not have met you in person, that they almost have befriended you. So I've said, oh, friend girl, that's so cute.
Bundy. Yeah, love it.
So, of course, let us know where you're watching from in the comments, and certainly say hi. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pass it over to Nikki for a minute so she can actually give herself an intro. I feel like, of course, I could just read an intro off of someone's website, but I would love for you to just kind of intro yourself and, tell everyone your backstory and where you're from and where they can find you.
So really, when you had made the comment about the, being my friend, when you come to my channel, it feels like you're my friend. And that's because that's how I started. Like, I was just at my home, at 40-ish, trying to find myself at 40. And that's when I picked up the camera and just started pretending like I had a friend that came over and just taking you around and doing things with you. And so that has always been how I have felt about creating my content and sharing, is that, my friend girl came over and I'm just showing her what's going on around these parts. And so in doing that, back then, Melissa, we didn't, you just get on YouTube and you're sharing, but you don't really think of it as a business. I mean, I barely knew what YouTube was, when I started. I was like, okay, we'll see. And over the years, it really was a journey, and it just transitioned into a business where I was then able to open my professional organizing business. I've written 4 books on the subject, and just so many friends out there. I, work with clients every week in their home virtually. It opened up so many doors for something that I truly honed in on, being a military spouse, traveling around, because I was a messy kid, by the way. The messiest kid. Yeah. My dad would say, get the room clean. It would be a disaster. Couldn't even see the floor. I would have it clean, Melissa, in 5 minutes. Everything under the bed and in the closet.
I love it.
That was my gig. I knew how to get everything in 5 minutes under the bed and in the closet. But it was when I, started having to get my own place. I had so much pride. my traveling with my husband, he come in and say, hey, we're moving out of country in 30 days.
Oh my God.
You know, so I honed in on the organizational skills then. And it's just, I never would have picked this for me. I never would have thought that I could have written 4 books because I couldn't stand writing a paper in high school.
You know what? It's funny, Nikki. I wrote my one book in 2017 and I called it my paper baby. And I said, I'm never doing this again. It is so crazy. It's so much work.
It's like having a baby. I mean, it's just
so much work.
It is. It's intense. It's really intense.
It's too hard for a lazy person like me. So kudos to you for being 4. So Nikki, on your website, I came across a quote that I really love. And I just want you to talk about it really briefly before we move into some of the housekeeping stuff. And of course, you are, people can find you on your YouTube channel, At Home with Nikki, but of course on your website, which we have up there, athomewithnikki.com. And I do want to let people know that one of the coolest things about Nikki is that you can have her help you virtually organize your house because she offers virtual sessions. But on your website, your quote, you are one choice away from a completely different life. That just grabbed me. So do you mind just elaborating on what made you put that there and like what that sort of means to you?
Well, I feel like there's so many things in life that we don't have control over, that there's things that just we have to accept, things that we can't change. But one thing we can is we do have the choice in how we want to feel when we walk in that door from that stressful world. And so I feel like we're one choice away from really just having a life transformation, being able to take that dream vacation because we're saving time, saving money, saving stress by curating a home that really feeds us and not kind of breaks us down, after we've already gone out there and been broken down by this world. So I feel like it's just one thing. And I feel like for me, it's one thing I've always had a choice with. It's a tool that I've had to really transform my life. And it just, that's why organization is so important to me, because I know what it can do for you when you get it, when you figure it out, and it's a process to figure it out,
Yeah. And, we've had other people here on the live who focus on organizing and decluttering, and it's always the same sentiment. Like it really is life-changing. And I think for anyone who's watching, who's just wondering how to get started, it's all about finding the person you click with. For a long time, it was Marie Kondo. And I think a lot of people, I mean, of course, there were the rest of us who were out there, but Marie Kondo was so famous and she was polarizing. Like she didn't resonate with some people, a lot of people actually. And I think that's just because some people found her approach extreme and, perhaps a little bit sterile. Whereas I think with you, one of the lovely things is, again, it comes back to that like camaraderie and the friendship and the warmth. And I would really encourage anyone today who's watching to go and check out Nikki's website, her YouTube channel, just get a feel for her and see if she resonates with you. And I'd love for you to put your questions for Nikki in the comments, because we are going to pick her brain today about cleaning and organizing and decluttering. Before we get into that, I'm going to run through a few things. First of all, I did see that we got a super chat earlier. So super chats are, Chad, do you mind putting the super chat up again? Yeah, Ricardo Rodney, thank you so much. So it's really interesting. You can like buy these little stickers as kind of like a little thank you. And that's so lovely and kind and really appreciated. I also just want to shout out a few new members that we have in the Clean My Space community. We've got Donald, Swain, Kate S., and Kimberly Newman. Thank you so much. And then, of course, we have our wonderful producer, Belle Riot, who also bought 10 memberships last week to give away, which was so nice. Thank you. So if you're interested in doing any of the super chats or becoming a member of the Clean My Space community, we can get some information up for you on how you can join that. It's just like a nice way to support the channel. It doesn't mean that if you don't do it, you're not getting the same that everybody else is getting. It's just really just a way to show support. So Makers Clean, which is our sister, I was going to say our sister YouTube channel, our sister company that sells premium microfiber cleaning cloths and more. We are having long weekend sales. I was telling Nikki, here in Canada, we have our long weekend, which we call Victoria Day weekend, or colloquially, the May 2-4. That's coming up this weekend. And then you in the States are having your Memorial Day weekend. So in honor of the long weekend, our US customers are getting 30% off our reusable scrub cloths, 25% off our premium waffle weave napkins. I believe we also sent out an email in our Makers Insider that shares some additional promos. And then our Canadian customers get a free gift with a $50 purchase. It's a 5-pack of our Makers Minis if you spend $50 or more. Okay, so now that I've gotten that out of the way, you know what I'd love to do in the comments, Nikki? I want to get people weighing in on the following, and then I want to hear what you have to say about this. Are you a shoes on or shoes off in the house person? Let us know in the comments how you roll. If you take your shoes off or if you leave them on. Nikki, weigh in.
You starting controversy up in here today, but I am a 100% shoes off person. I tell you, if you just have that simple thought of what I walk in when I'm going out doing my thing, and then to think to bring it in and put it on my carpet that I love to lay over, and I go get gas, and it's just, trying to drag that in. And so I have always been a shoe-free home, totally shoe-free.
Yeah. So I remember reading some studies. We're getting a lot of people saying they take their shoes off. I think we got one person who says shoes on. Oh, there's another one. So yeah, DJ. So I have a very fancy aunt and uncle, and they have outdoor shoes and then they change into indoor shoes because they always look so polished from head to toe that they wear indoor shoes. And perhaps, yeah, like what Colleen's saying, and perhaps it's, a comfort thing as well. Like I know some people want to wear shoes in their house because it's better for their feet, whether it's slippers or just like a comfy pair of Skechers or something, whatever it is. So I feel, yes, what Diane says. So there have been studies that have been done that say when you wear your outdoor shoes inside your house, you track in tons and tons and tons of dirt. Like about 80% of the dirt that's in your house comes in from the outdoors. Mm-hmm. So if you wear shoes, it just makes your home even more dirty. And then it's more cleaning that you have to do. Oh, Tiffany says very Canadian to take your shoes off. That's interesting. Very interesting. Anyway, yeah. So I have, Nikki, funny enough, I have a pair of Crocs that I got from a YouTube event, and they have, do you know what gibbets are on Crocs?
That you put in the holes, the little decorative things. Yes.
Yeah. So they gave us like these nice clean white Crocs and then all these little YouTube gibbets.
That's cute.
So I'm like, perfect. Those will be my indoor shoes. But yeah, otherwise I'm very much a shoes off person, but I like wearing shoes indoors. Like,
I do want to say something about that though.
Yeah.
When we create a home environment where we want our shoes, when guests come over, we want them to take their shoes off. You want to be sure to just be prepared for that, because sometimes you may have a guest that's elderly and it may be difficult for them to take their shoes off. Or if you're asking people to remove their shoes, it may be unexpected for them. So maybe have some complimentary socks. And make sure they have the skids so that they don't slip, so just think about, who interacts with your home when you kind of set up these systems of like not wearing shoes in the home. So that's something definitely to think
about. That's actually a good suggestion. Or like, have you ever been I'm sure you've been to like those spas before where they have like a little basket of slippers that you can pick up.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very, very good point. Oh, it's very Danish to take your shoes off.
So everyone's taking their shoes off now. Love it.
Yeah, no, me too. Yeah. And if listen, I'll say this about Crocs. I think they're very ugly and I wouldn't want to wear them out of the house, which is why they do make the perfect indoor shoe. Yeah, they're hideous, but they are comfortable. And you know what else is cool about them, Nikki? They're machine washable. So
really, I didn't know that now. That's
even though I wear them indoors, like they still get, like the tread still gets a little bit dirty from time to time.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you just throw them in the wash, just tied, regular cycle, take them out, let them dry. Like you don't put them in the dryer, done. It's like very
So low
easy.
maintenance. There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
Low maintenance, high performing. So very, very useful. All right. So Nikki, I want to get into questions that we have coming through. So the first one comes from a Sent comment. And the question is, I struggle to build a laundry routine. Where can I start?
Yeah. So anything that we do, we want to think first, how can I do it simply? And one thing with laundry is I would just come up with a standard that you're going to do in your week or day. So for me, it's okay. I say one load a day keeps the laundry away. So it's about just throwing one load in and just having it becomes thinkless, but the laundry stays complete.
Yeah.
And so, but again, you have to find what works for you. If you have a bigger family, it may be 2 loads a day. You may have a smaller family, it may be once every other day. But finding that happy medium of how many loads do I need to do in a week's time to really keep this under control. And then and I like to do it first thing in the morning because I don't like doing laundry. So let's just pop it in, get it done while I'm waiting on the coffee to brew. It's just.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great suggestion. What I started doing is, so I separate my laundry. We do separate laundry in this house, except for Riley, where I do not separate her laundry. Everything just goes in the wash. I really don't care how it comes out because she's not going to be wearing it in 6 months. But yeah, for me, I separate everything lights, colors, darks. And then I do 1 load a week of each of those. So I'll do 1 lights, 1 colors, 1 darks. And then what I recently started doing is putting my laundry in the wash and then setting it to delay start. So I'll put it in at night, then I delay start so that by the time I wake up in the morning, the wash is just about finished, and then I can move it over to the dryer. And then while, Riley's having breakfast or something else is going on around the house, I can like quickly fold that laundry. And as you say, it's just done in the morning and I get it out of the way.
Listen, also you can switch. Like there's certain things I don't like to do. I don't mind putting the clothes in the wash, but I can't stand taking it and folding and putting it away, where Mike doesn't mind that. So if you can split it with a family member and say, hey, okay, I'll just make sure they get in the wash machine if you'll just make sure they get to the end result. That's a good way to kind of, eliminate the part that you don't like.
Well, I would say that you and Mike have really good communication strategies and you're really good at dividing and conquering, because I would say that the majority of families or couples that I've chatted with just can't get it together in that way. So I love that for you. I hope that it resonates with some people. I don't think I don't know. I don't know too many people that could pull that off. So that's actually pretty awesome that you guys can swing that. I feel like in other jobs around the house, that's possible. Like I'll cook, you clean up after dinner. But like laundry feels so granular, like I'll put it in, but then you move it over and you do that. Oh, look at that.
I have to think of it like this. The washing machine is my buddy. The only thing I focus on is the washing machine. The dryer is Mike's buddy. I don't even know the dryer, and so we each have our own machine. So it's not like we're intermingling like, oh, this whole unity. And
okay. That's a better way to describe it, because I had a different feeling for a minute there. And I was like, wow, you guys are really vibing. That's amazing. I actually, I saw a comment about, I think it was Diane mentioned something about her cats don't have opposable thumbs. There we go. And they shed on it. Yes, they do. You don't have any pets, do you, Nikki?
Oh my goodness, yes, I have 2 Yorkies.
Yeah,
Bentley and Albert. They have their own YouTube channel, Bentley and Albert.
Oh
At
my
home
God.
with Bentley and Albert.
Okay, but Yorkies, they don't shed.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so that's great.
They do a lot of other things, but they don't shed.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, from a shedding standpoint, I can give a good little trick. You can put your clothing before you wash your clothes. You can put it into the dryer for about 10 minutes with a dryer sheet, run it through, ditch the dryer sheet, put everything in the wash. So Nikki, this would mean if you had cats, you would have to know both appliances, but this doesn't apply to you. And then the cats, the shedding from the cats or the dogs should be taken up by the dryer. And then you would launder as usual in the wash. And then you would put the load back into the dryer with a fresh dryer sheet. And that should really help. Now, of course, the problem is if you take it out and put it on the sofa and you're folding and the cats are running over the sofa, all of that work was for naught. But when you have pets, I feel like there's a level of acceptance that you have to come to with hair and shedding and smells, and you can sort of work on it as best you can, but then you also have to see past a few things. So that was a great question. Just a reminder, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and throw them into the comments there. Here's one from Catherine Perez. What can you recommend for a carpet deodorizer? Are there any powder products that you like, Nikki?
Well, I don't tend to use a lot of like the powders and things on my carpet. I just remember back in the day, I used to have a catastrophe when we had carpets with that stuff. But mostly I like to try to keep the floors, and then I try to reverse my rugs and just kind of shake them out to kind of get everything with the rugs. But no, I don't too much. I do shampoo the rugs regularly, but I don't use like a deodorizer on a regular basis with them for me.
Say more about shampooing your rugs. How do you do that?
I have the just the manual shampooer. I've always had this thing where I can't call people in to shampoo my carpets because I always think about did you know how they have the murder scenes and things like that? I'm like, do they call carpet cleaners to come and clean? And then they come, maybe my appointment's after a crime scene or something. So
Nikki, there are special companies for that. You're not calling.
I've always had that vision of, okay, who was the previous person's house that we're in? And then I was like, okay. So I've always just kind of used my own shampooer and just that, I'm a game girl. I put, and Melissa's probably like, Nikki, what are you doing? But I like to put Gain in my shampooer and shampoo.
You know what? Gain, like people, I'll tell you, because I do some work with P&G, and they're like, Gain is one of those products that people have like a lifelong obsession with. Lifelong obsession.
I don't know. They put something in it. There's something in it. I don't know.
But we say that about our coffee cups. Here, have you ever heard of Tim Hortons?
Yes, the coffee. Yes.
Yeah. So it's like Canada's like Dunkin' Donuts, I suppose.
Yeah.
And people sometimes joke that they put something in the coffee cup liners that keep people coming back. So you're saying it's the same for you with Gain?
Yes. I can't get away from it. Yeah. So when I clean my rugs, I usually I'm watering Gain, and I'm just that's how I clean them.
Wow. And so you add that into you have a Bissell machine?
Yes. And then I just add into the water and just a little bit into the water. And that's what I shampoo it. Mm-hmm.
And the dirty water tank comes out dirty? Okay.
Very clean.
I like this hack. I like it. I haven't heard it, but I like it. Okay. So and the thing is with powders, like when I was, I chatted with Dyson about this, and I'm like, so what's the deal with these powders, and why don't companies recommend them for the vacuums? And they were saying because especially if there's any moisture that gets into the powders, it can clog the filter, and it can clog the motor, and it can just cause problems for your vacuums, and vacuums aren't cheap. So they actually prefer if you don't use powders, Catherine. So I hope that answers your question. And now you have Nikki's little Gain life hack, which I kind of love. Maybe Gain should make a carpet cleaning product.
They really should. They really should.
Like they made a Gain dish soap. I was very surprised about that. I'm like, who wants their dishes to smell like laundry? But apparently people do.
I'm telling you.
All right. So here's one from Sleep Sounds. Ooh, I need some sleep sounds in my life. I'll tell you that. Okay. My linen closet is a huge mess. Nikki, how should I organize it?
Well, I'm all about that one step at a time. So when you open your linen closet and it can feel overwhelming trying to figure it out. So I would say, okay, I'm going to take this week and I'm going to do one shelf a week. And that gives you the opportunity to just, when you go in there, you can just take everything off the shelf, reassess the shelf, declutter everything off of it, and rebuild that one shelf, taking all of 5 to 10 minutes. And over the week's time, at the end of the week, you'll be surprised at how the linen closet has come together. You've given yourself more opportunity to think out, because you're doing it one shelf at a time versus kind of having this whole big project. And it just makes it simple. So I always encourage with like closets and things, just take it one piece at a time over a week or a couple days so that you don't have to disrupt and create a big major project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And then like, what would you say to people who have like mix and match kind of towels and sheets and that kind of thing? Like, should they take some time to declutter, organize? Do you like baskets, labels? Like, what do you think about that?
I think I like in my home to create a system that can be long-term. So for Mike and I like for us to have our own colored towels. So I know when I see that gray towel, that's his. So when it's on the floor, I automatically knew who the culprit is. But so when we're establishing our homes, for anybody who's new to the game out there, think about, okay, his and her colored towels, or for the kids, color code the kids' towels so that everybody knows kind of what they have. But then if you have that inventory that you've had for years that may have some ratty ones in there, definitely kind of get those out and donate them to dog shelters. They can use them all of the time, all our old towels and things like that. But then if you have a collection that it's functionality is good, but it just may aesthetically not be the best, choose the ones that you love and you can showcase those. And then right next to it, you can put a basket to toss the ones that are just kind of, don't look the best, but it gives a beautiful look aesthetically when you open it, but you still have access to everything. So I do, Melissa, love a basket in coordination with having things open to easily access them to.
Yeah, I would say like one of the things that I find hard to get rid of are those towels. And also the other thing, pajamas and like stuff that I wear around the house, and towels is sort of the same thing. Like you're like, well, there's still a use for it. I could still use it for this. I could still use it for that, for cleaning off the dog's paws if I have a dirty job. And then it can be very hard to get rid of them, and it's the same with pajamas. Like embarrassingly, I have pajamas from 15 years ago. They have holes in them. Oh, they don't look good, but they're comfortable and I'm just used to them and I don't care, So, but I also don't want to get rid of them, but I'd be dead embarrassed if someone ever saw me.
I think you hit it on the head. It's the comfort.
Yeah.
You know how that towel is going to feel when you dry off. Those pajamas you're going to sleep well in those pajamas. So it's that comfort level that you hesitate to give up,
Yeah. But then there also really has to come a point where you rip the Band-Aid off and you're like, all right,
gotta go. Yeah.
Time to go. Yeah. I should probably redo my pajama inventory and maybe I should get something that looks a little bit more decent. Okay, Colleen Curry Lee. How do I clean my tile floors, especially the grout? The grout needs to be cleaned. There's a ton of it, and I'm afraid to damage the grout. And do I need to seal it? And how often should I seal it? Lots of cleaning grout related questions. Because normally, Nikki, I would say a little toothbrush, a little hydrogen peroxide, a little baking soda. But if we're dealing with a lot of grout, it's not conducive to a toothbrush and some baking soda. What have you done in the past?
I don't have a lot of tile in my house or in my houses. I have it in the bath. Like in the bathroom, I'll have some maybe in the shower. In the new bathroom, we have it. But I love I use the Mrs. Meyer's liquid vinegar.
Yeah.
I love using that in a cleaning brush. But to me, I find in the showers, using a pre-shower spray all the time really cuts down on having a big grout problem.
Oh, which one do you use?
I use, I can't think of the name of it, but it's right out the store. It's one of the, I've used the Method one.
Yeah.
But there's another one that I'm using now that's just like I can't even think of the brand. But I know over time, the Method one is a good one. So that that one I would recommend.
Yeah.
And just a pre-spray before I go in, and it really just solves a big problem of having grungy grout.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So have you ever tried one of those electric scrubbers?
Yes, I have. Love hate with it. I think you have to have the right one. The one I had maybe have not been the right one. I felt like I was fighting, you know, you
Yeah.
know,
I've had that experience with it too. It almost
yeah,
feels like it has a mind of its own on the end.
yeah,
I think it just, especially with the circular brushes, I feel like I don't know how dentists do it because they're dealing with tiny discs. But yeah,
yes,
like it's one of those things where you have to really understand how to get a handle on the machine before you can have success with it. But I will say, if you have a lot of grout to clean, I feel like a tool like that might be the best bet, just in term, or even a drill brush. Like people have had a lot of success with that as well. Especially if you have a large volume of grout to take care of, that might be the best choice.
yeah, yeah.
In terms of sealing the grout, I will say sealing the grout is a great thing to do a couple times a year. You can pick up a grout sealant at a place like Home Depot, Amazon. They're readily available. It's a matter of following the care instructions, or not the care instructions, following the package instructions. But the caveat is that you can't do it before your grout has been cleaned, because if your grout is dirty, then it's like putting on nail polish, like a top coat on like chipped nails or dirty nails. So you want to make sure everything is clean and ready to go, and then you can seal the grout. So
GTO mom said, I need to bring my pressure washer. Sometimes I feel like I need to bring in my pressure washer. I hear you on that one. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Here's one. This is from Melanie. Nikki, do you ever get overwhelmed and fall behind on cleaning and organizing? If so, how do you deal with it? Honestly, I cannot imagine that happening to Nikki Boyd, but
Oh my goodness, yes. Oh, absolutely. Because when life gets to life, and which is all the time, the reality is I can't always hit the mark here, do what I want to do, but I have learned I don't put the pressure on myself. If I don't catch it this week, I'll catch it next week.
Yeah.
But no, it's not. I live in my home. I have a husband. So if you have a husband, that there's, or any family member, that there is going to be times when it's just craziness. And currently, we're living in a renovation. So there is just pure craziness.
Madness.
Yes, madness. And so it's about giving ourselves grace and not in understanding what truly is important. Our family, our kids, our well-being, that trumps stuff. So give yourself grace when you have those weeks where you don't hit the mark. And if you're in your home and you're really just totally overwhelmed, you don't know where to start, I would say start anywhere small. Pick one. It could be just a corner of a table, and just give yourself that little boost of motivation, and then build from there.
Yeah. I find the same thing, like exactly what you said. There are so many times where I have found myself just not able to keep up. And it's like punching yourself when you're down. Like you're already not able to keep up. You're already kind of struggling. But then making yourself feel bad about it is so counterproductive. Instead, just giving yourself that grace, as you say, is just such an easy way, a nice way to just let yourself get over the hump and then say, yeah, I'll pick it up next time. I'll get it next time. Like that mentality of perfection is so harmful and toxic for us, for everyone. So yeah, just give yourself grace. I love that answer.
And remove yourself from, sometimes you have to, like, I have to remove myself from the situation. Like if I'm at home and I feel like, oh, I can't get this done. And I'm going through a time in my life now where it's difficult for me to focus sometimes. So I'll get up and say, if I feel overwhelmed by my home, I'll leave for a minute and go to a coffee shop and go into another beautiful environment to get rejuvenated. And then when I come back home, oh, okay, I can tackle that. Okay. So sometimes you have to get out of the situation for a moment to just kind of reset. And then
I actually love that suggestion. Top tip. Like I love that suggestion. I was speaking with someone the other week and they were saying, I think they were sort of giving me some advice, and they said, like, you have to give yourself a break if your body asks for a break. And I think sometimes when we feel overwhelmed by work or unable to focus on something, we like sort of double down on making ourselves feel like, no, I have to get this spreadsheet done. And then you realize like it's actually harder to be functional in those moments. And then on the flip side, if you give yourself that break and you listen to your body and you go somewhere else, you change your scenery, you do something different, walk, cook something, make a tea, like whatever it is, that just, you go to a coffee shop, as you say, gives you sort of that change of scenery, that change of activity, then it allows you to come back and do the thing that you were struggling with. Oh, I love that. There's one thing people take away today. I hope it's that. That's so meaningful. Here's a question from Mary Gifford. Nikki, do you clean area rugs the same way you clean your carpets?
So I do, because I have the Bissell, and as I clean the rug, we only have carpet in one space in the house. And yes, we use the same method, the Gain and the Bissell.
Yeah, love it. Love it, love it, love it. That's great. Okay, so here's a question from Sing It. Melissa, if you don't mind answering, what did you do with your wedding dress? I hope you kept it now that you're a girl mama. And Nikki, you can answer too. Okay, so my wedding dress, I always told myself I would get it dry cleaned, and I never did. So the bottom of it is still, of course, quite dirty, which is fine. Now, my mom, when I was growing up, kept her wedding dress for probably the same reason many women keep their wedding dresses. And my sister and I used to play dress up in the dress, and we ruined it. But like my mom was okay with it. Like it was just like, it was cool. Dress up. It was great. Like what more does a girl want than to put on a wedding dress?
Look, it had purpose. It had a dual purpose.
Yeah. But my mom got married in 1980, I want to say. So she had like the sheath gown with the.
Did she have the puffy?
No, because I don't think Princess Di had been married yet. So we were just ahead of that. Thank goodness. Thank goodness for my mom. Didn't have to go through that. My sisters-in-law, I can't say the same for them, but my mom definitely. So yeah. And her dress was like a long sleeve one, like a narrow sheath. Like it was very, very pretty, but very simple. So for me, I have my wedding dress and I have zero expectation of Riley ever wanting to wear it, because I'm sure in 2040 or whenever she gets married, she's going to look at my wedding dress and say, "Oh, Mom, that's so ugly. What were you thinking?" I'm sure that's going to happen. Or God only knows, they'll be wearing like tinfoil wedding dresses. I don't know what they're going to be wearing. Just like metallic. I don't know. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, but I would love for Riley, if she ever wanted to play with the dress or dress up with it, I think it would be adorable. Oh, wash the dress in the washing machine. And yes, that's an interesting tip. And then someone said, well, at least my mom's dress got used by both her daughters. Yeah. Both my sister and I had a lot of fun with that dress. Nikki, did you keep your dress?
No, my wedding dress cost all of $20.
Oh,
and yes. Mike and I, we were so poor back then. We went. I got a $20 dress. I went to Michael's and got a piece of. I went to the fabric store and got a piece of tulle, and went to Michael's and got a little clip and clipped it on my hair for my veil. And we went to a gazebo with just immediate family and had the best time. And so the wedding dress is I have no clue. I don't even know. I've donated it somewhere.
There you go. Oh, that's a nice suggestion. Save a piece of fabric and make something for flowers, something old. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, if anybody has any ideas what to do with old wedding dresses, feel free to throw them in the comments, because I feel like that's an investment and a lot of people feel guilty. Here's a question from Nurse Mom of 3. And I feel like this is very relatable. I buy too many home decor items, Please help. I need to start decluttering them, but I don't know how.
Yeah. I would say set your home, know what you have out, and then if it doesn't have a home, and I would say a bed, if it doesn't have a bed to sleep in, then it needs to go. So, give everybody their bed, assign beds to everybody, and then whoever's left over, move them out. They got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that can be overwhelming. That can be overwhelming. And one thing that sometimes it can be hard to part with things that you feel are beautiful or you got a good deal on and things like that. But what you can do is take your dining room table, load all that stuff on your dining room table, and then invite over those folks in your life that are younger, just starting out, or may not have a lot of home decor, and have them come over. And the joy you will get from seeing them get so excited by your beautiful things, for me, it just erases me getting rid of stuff. I love it. I love seeing someone else being able to benefit from something that's not really bringing me joy or benefiting me. So that could be an easier way to part with it, if you struggle with it.
I like that suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an awesome suggestion. Yeah. So Nikki, I want to share with the audience a little bit more about your business. Do you still have your office there in North Carolina?
No, I had it in South Carolina. 2 years ago, we moved to North Carolina. And so my lease was up and everything. And it was, I was like, you know what? We're just going to shut down there, move to North Carolina. And so I work from home. I don't go into the home anymore. I'm doing organizing. I strictly do virtual. So it's been some changes in the last 2 years with that. But I love it because I'm able to work with women all over the world. It's so beautiful. It's just really beautiful. And I'm that friend by your side. Don't say I'm your professional organizer. I'm your friend by your side, just giving you a different perspective in your space.
So when you do a virtual organizing session, how does it work?
Yeah. So basically we're on Zoom, and I like for my client to be on their phone so they can move around.
Yep.
And the first thing, we just kind of look at the space to set our goals. And then we talk through the goals, because a lot of times when you're in it, it's hard to figure out what to do. And so that's why I'm that friend is saying, let's try this. So what do you think about this? And then outline certain goals. I usually meet with my folks every week. And so we'll set weekly goals.
Oh.
And we'll work our way through. With a lot of my clients, we work our way through their entire home. Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, I guess for someone, if they came to you and they didn't know where to start, I think, and that's the hardest part about organizing. The nice thing is, as you say, like, they have that support system in place where you will help them establish those goals, and then you're right beside them while they're executing upon those goals. And sometimes that's what people need. They need a coach. They need someone who can sort of handhold and get them there. So it must feel really nice when you celebrate wins with them, huh?
Yes, because it's like when you first meet, they have this just look. And then after they get through it, it's like our sessions are all just, just exciting. And it's about, like, sometimes when you're in your space, you don't think, you might see that bowl that's frustrating you, but I'm like, that bowl's perfect in your pantry. So I'm able to see things from a fresh set of eyes. I'm not living in it. And because some folks go out and they want to run to the store and buy all of these things, but they have everything they need right at home. So I love being able to see your stuff and help you move it around and figure it out. So that's a lot of the fun in it. It's like not having to go out and buy a bunch of stuff. Let's look at what you got and let me come in as a fresh pair of eyes and let's switch it up. Let's get it.
Yeah, that's so true. And, on the topic of buying a whole bunch of stuff, I think one of the fallacies of organizing is thinking that you need to go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff, right? Yeah. Whereas, well, instead of me saying it, what's your take on that?
No, you always want to shop your home first, because many times I have found so many times that you have everything you need right there. And to organize, it doesn't take going to Target, Walmart, and all of that to do that. Yes, there's some beautiful options out there that you can, get things that you need. But first, you want to hit step one, have your home organized so you can even know what you need. Like, if you just go start buying stuff, you're just bringing more clutter in. You need to first get through decluttering, get through organizing to really have a understanding of what truly do I need? Do I have it already or don't I?
Yeah. And I found, oh, Brenda, that's such a nice comment. Thank you. I found that going through the process of decluttering makes me think so much more carefully when I'm out shopping. And I ask myself, do I need this? Does it have a bed, as you say? Does it have a home? Or is this just something I'm buying for the sake of buying? And it has helped me so many times say no and leave things on the shelf, and of course, save money. Mm-hmm. I can't say I'm perfect at it. I can't say I do it all the time, but I would say there are parts of my house that are cluttered, and there are certainly parts of my house that aren't. Like this area back here, it's looked the same pretty much since COVID. And actually, those lips,
yeah,
I've always loved the aesthetic of lips. I think they're so beautiful. And I remember finding those probably in like 2010, like 2011.
Oh, wow,
like,
you've had it a while.
Really old. And I just love it. I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. And it has a home, and I don't need to buy every little thing that has lips on it. Like I have my beautiful lips. That's good. And then back here, I picked up a few colorful items that sort of made me feel happy. That piece of art up there, actually, there was a teacher that retired from my mom's school because he left to become an artist.
Oh,
and
wow.
When my mother retired, they gave her 2 pieces of his, and then she moved and she didn't have space for them. So I acquired them, but they're so colorful.
Yeah,
and I sort of pulled
nice. I like
yeah, it's like really pretty. And then I pulled some colors out of there, and then I bought, those little accessories. And then of course this picture over here, and I don't touch it. Even if I find other things and I'm like, oh, that would look really good there. It's done. It never needs to be touched again.
There you go. And it makes you happy. Like when you come in, it makes you feel good in your space. So then you don't need to, why mess with it? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I am.
Yeah,
this is like a very happy place. And for me, color was so important. Like I feel very just inspired by lots of color, but I love the backdrop of the white. But yeah, like it's true. It can be so easy to be drawn in, especially when you go and you're walking the shelves of the beautiful home decor stores. I don't know, Nikki, your place it's always so beautifully curated. Like anytime I look on your Instagram, your YouTube channel, even your backdrop there, like how did you come to settle on what your space looks like? And do you ever change up the look?
You know what? And moving into this new house, we bought a renovation. Our home is an older home, and we're renovating it for our forever home. And so I'm just now starting to get, how we change over time. I'm like, I want pops of color. So blue is I love blue and green. So I'm putting pops of blue and green.
A lot of your photos, you love wearing blue too.
Oh yeah, blue and green. It's just so calming for me. I love those colors. And so I've tend to have always had a neutral home, but I'm now, I guess the older I'm getting, I'm like, I want a little
jazz.
Jazz. So I'm starting to kind of incorporate. I just painted my front door blue and all kinds. So I'm putting some color in. So it's really just been refreshing. But for me, Melissa, what I like to do is when I'm doing anything in my home, I have an imagination. I love just imagining that I'm working in a high-end department store and how they paid people, thousands of dollars to come in to arrange things to entice us.
They're merchandisers.
Yes. And I took a visual merchandising class years and years and years ago. And so I was like, when I'm in my home,
that explains a lot, Nikki.
So I'm like, when I'm in my home, I'm like always thinking about how I can make that when I walk in, it's going to just make me, just pull me in. So that's kind of the technique that I use when I'm organizing and decorating and all that good stuff.
I love that. And even your books, like, they are so beautifully laid out and just clean and crisp. And the aesthetic is it's so stunning. Like every time I leaf through your books, they're just beautifully done. Yeah. Did you have a lot to do with establishing the layout, or was that something that your publisher?
Yeah. Well, the vibe, yes, because the one thing that was important for me was that the information was just there for you. The resource was there for you, but aesthetically you had something that you felt like you could sit on your coffee table, no matter. And that's why I kept it white too, because even no matter if you had a lot of color in your home or you had a neutral home, you could sit the book out and you would be reminded of organization, but also had a decorative accessory. So that was always important for me. And then also, I also wanted to, again, draw you into the book from the aesthetic so that you can then get the pieces of information because you're drawn in. And it's just like that department store, they draw us in and then we buy that product, right? So that's what I wanted to do with the book, is draw you in to encourage you to organize something in your space.
Yeah. Well, what I like about your book, exactly as you say, it's something that you can have sitting out to enjoy. And it's something that's really easy to leaf through. It's not, with my book, it's very much like, it's like a workbook, like a textbook almost in cleaning, where it's broken down by chapters, and it's a book that you would sit and you would read if you wanted to learn how to do something cleaning kind of step by step. But our goal wasn't to make it look beautiful. Our goal was to be like, here's how to clean something.
Information, get the information out it, yeah.
But yeah, like when you flip through your book, it's almost like going through a cookbook, like a beautiful cookbook, where you kind of get you can open it up to any page, see beautiful pictures, kind of see the step by step, but laid out in like a really snackable way almost,
Yeah, I'm a visual person, a visual learner myself. So for me, I wanted to be something, if somebody was like me and they needed that visual I can say, organize your linen closet this way, but if I can see it, I'm like, I got it. Okay. So that's kind of, my thought process also with the book.
Yeah. Well, that makes a lot of sense. And then, so we know you on camera, but tell us a little bit about Nikki off camera. What do you like to do when you're not organizing?
Oh, so many just wonderful things, like just take a nice nap in the middle of the day. No.
Nikki, I'm right there with you. I love that.
Naps are like my favorite thing. I love a nap on Sundays when I get home from church. I always take a nap, and then I love a 4 o'clock nap during the week. It's just, for me, the work day ends at 4 o'clock, and then I can take that nap and it transitions me into my home life. So it's like that nice little break to say, okay, you're done with work, and now you can have some little energy into work life. But also, I love just being with my family. I love watching. I'm a Lifetime girl. I love watching my Lifetime movies, Netflix, and all of those things. I used to be a big TV person, but I know the older I'm getting into these series on Netflix and things that I'm like.
Oh, what are you currently watching?
Yesterday I watched Bridgerton. Season 3 came out, so I watched that, but I got to rewatch it because I was a little distracted when I was watching it. So, but I love. We're living in the country now. I love just sitting on the back porch and no music on, no nothing, and just quiet. And so just peace, like just peaceful environments. I love a good coffee shop. So I'm a simple girl. I really am. I'm a simple girl. I love my family, my friends, and just a very just simple life. I don't have to go running a lot and go here and there and all of that. Just a cup of coffee in my back patio. I'm good.
That sounds so nice and so relaxing. And so chill. Are you doing any gardening this year?
Yes. I just planted a couple of flowers. I don't know that this year, because we're in this renovation mode, that I'm going to do veggies or herbs or anything like that. That'll be next year when I get my sanity back. So, but I am enjoying planting. Like Melissa, I was that girl. You might remember from YouTube. Every plant in my house was artificial.
I think I remember seeing videos of you cleaning your plants.
Yes. And now, and because I had a black thumb, and now I have a green thumb. So now 90% and now it's almost 100% of the plants in my home are real and they're thriving. And I am just so impressed with myself.
I love that.
Yes. So,
I find plants really intimidate people. And like you, I also had the magic touch where I could kill any plant that came into the house. And then a fellow creator, Daryl Chang, he has a YouTube channel, but he also has some he's bigger on Instagram and TikTok, Houseplant Journal. He taught me, we became friends, and, I follow his content as well, but he taught me how to how to listen to a plant. Like a plant will talk to you. It'll tell you how it's doing based on its soil, based on its leaves. You know, I always thought, oh, you water a plant once a week. So like every Saturday, put it into your calendar to water a plant. And he was like, actually, no, like let the soil tell you when to water the plant. You know, or don't set yourself up for failure and buy a plant that's not going to thrive in, you know, your home because you don't have the right kind of lighting for the particular plant. So I find, no, he doesn't do outdoor stuff at all for that. We have a friend Kevin, who does content on a YouTube channel called Epic Gardening that we really love. But for indoors, Daryl is awesome. And he taught me so much about caring for plants. And we have really beautiful plants, just like you. Whereas in our old house, like, you know, we would get like the easiest, like least screw upable plant from IKEA, and that thing would be toast in a week.
And it's not really, once I'm learning, I always was so intimidated by it, but now it's like, it's really not that bad. It's not bad. I mean,
and they bring you joy, right? Like,
oh my goodness.
really,
in the house, it's a different feeling. Like it feels different.
Yeah, it's not like having a pet, but it's sort of like having a pet in the sense that there's like vibrancy and life. You can feel kind of that life in the house. It's really nice.
And I think I'm a crazy plant lady now, because every time I go somewhere, I'm like looking for a new plant, and I'm like, okay, Nikki, calm down.
Yeah,
it's gonna look like a jungle in a minute.
Yeah, that's how Daryl actually says that happens. He says you gain your footing, and then you get comfortable, and then he calls it the junglification of your house. I think all the plant lovers have been there. Anyway, before we wrap up, let's just remind people where they can go to find you.
Yeah. Athomewithnikki.com is my website. So you can go there to schedule a session with me or learn more about organizing, my blog, all kinds of stuff over there. Also, I'm on all social platforms as At Home with Nikki. And so you can find me over there. And I also, if you're looking at getting into the professional organizing business, I do have a course that you can take, a master course on it, and you can get there right from athomewithnikki.com also.
Oh, and we talked about your books. So where can people find your books?
All stores that sell books, they basically find it in Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes and Noble, all those bookie places.
Wonderful. And just a reminder here, you can visit our Makers Clean long weekend sales. Our US customers get 30% off our reusable scrub cloths, 25% off our premium waffle weave napkins, which, oh my gosh, people love, love, love those two products. Free gift with a $50 purchase. It's a 5-pack of Makers Minis with $50 or more at checkout. And you can see that at makersclean.com or makersclean.ca. All right, Nikki. Well, with that, I'm going to wish you and everyone who tuned in a wonderful weekend, and in Canada, a wonderful long weekend.
Yes, you too. Thanks for having me, and everyone have a beautiful weekend.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. Take good care.